Project 3 assignment, I've chosen various images off the internet, and I'm just going to be going over how they relate to my controversy of choice. And the controversy I've chosen is the names of certain programs and buildings on Clemson's campus, and just going about strategies of either changing the names, keeping the names, or another strategy we've came up with is like a middle name sort of strategy. So we're going to get right into this with the Calhoun Honors College. So this was recently changed just less than a year ago because of many pushes from football players such as DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun. There was obviously more behind this because they got the board of trustees behind this too as well. But like a lot of media influence was pushed to change the name of the Calhoun Honors College to just the Clemson Honors College because of just the character that John C. Calhoun had, which is just like his attitude toward African Americans, because he was a slave owner. Fort Hill was literally a slave plantation at one point in history, and just he was a very slavery type of guy, and at the time period, it's what many people believed in. But looking back, should we honestly just put people like that on a platform to even be even recognized? So I think that's a big reason of why John C. Calhoun, the Honors College, was changed from that name. And what people are trying to also say is we're not trying to ignore the significance that John C. Calhoun had on the finding of Clemson University, but what a lot of people are just trying to say is that we should not be glorifying a man who, or just even putting a platform out for a man that believed in such awful things for such a group of people. And this is where a big thing is why people want to change the names of certain buildings and programs on campus, because we don't want to just like recognize or give people platforms that believed in such awful things, but at the same time, for their time period, that was how they lived. So it's just trying to find a middle ground there, and and that's the whole thing. So we gotta really look at it through an outside perspective. Personally, I think that there has to be a middle ground somewhere found in here, because it's hard just completely ignore a complete the complete actions that a man did, but at the same time, it's also hard to ignore the actions he took in securing a beautiful place like Clemson University and what it became today, and they had a huge part in that. And another big thing is Tillman. So Benjamin Tillman, Pitchfork Tillman, awful beliefs for this man. He usually said the N word, all kinds of awful stuff. That he did not have a filter. He was very open about what he believed, and what he believed is not okay at all. And it really was never okay at all, but especially in today's climate. So, and what's crazy is the main building you think of when you come to Clemson is Tillman Hall. It's literally right there, the biggest building on campus. Literally, whenever you think of Clemson University, literally look it up on the internet. Tillman Hall is what comes up, and we have this man, this awful man, who he had significance, but he believed in such awful stuff. Do we really want our base building, our primary building, to be named after a guy that said all these awful things about a certain group of people that are now going to the university here? So it's just thinking about like that, like just like, because the thing is, Clemson is found by so many people that were plantation owners and slave owners, just people that did not really believe the right stuff and would not be acceptable at today's claim. Like, for example, this picture right here is a statue of Thomas Green Clemson. Thomas Green Clemson, yes, had huge significance in flipping finding Clemson. Like, he was literally the the man who the campus was named after, but he did things, and how he lived about his life was not very, acceptable nowadays. And right here I think this is a very powerful image, because it shows that change can be made. Calhoun, arguably when we think of Clemson, John C. Calhoun, or not just Clemson, the whole state of South Carolina, John C. Calhoun is one of the first people we think of. And the fact that this statue is being removed of him shows that we can change. And this goes into the whole just changing the names of certain buildings on campus to something different. And personally, I think this is probably the best move because, for example, right here you have Walter Riggs. Yeah, I know that there are several buildings on campus already named after Walter Riggs, and this is great because he is literally one of the first men to, like, because he is associated with the president of South Carolina State, which was the state's primary black college at the time. And the fact that he was doing this shows that this is in like before World War II. So this is showing that this is at before a time where it's really even normal to associate with black men. And this is another example. This is the first African American football player we've ever had on Clemson's campus. So this goes to show that we can change the names to people that still had huge significance towards Clemson, that also represented something good, something that's powerful, that could be looked at today as something that we could be proud of. Like this man right here, like we could be, oh, this is the first African American ever at Clemson. This is super awesome. This is something we should celebrate and have a building name for. So, just to conclude here, Clemson should definitely change the names of these buildings that represent racist figures. I know that they are very significant in the founding of our university, but we have to be aware of the climate today. And overall, they're simply just better candidates for these buildings to be named after. Thank you for your time and have a great day. And these are my works cited for my sources and information and the images.